Buenas tardes y sean bienvenidos a este webinar. El día de hoy tenemos la compañía de Cristian Villarosa de Hood College y empezaremos con la presentación de Education USA. All right. Mm, give me one second. Sí, Education USA somos una red del Departamento de Estado de Estados Unidos con más de 430 centros en más de 175 países y territorios. Promovemos la educación superior estadounidense en los estudiantes internacionales, ofreciendo información precisa, completa y actualizada de las oportunidades de estudiar en instituciones acreditadas de educación superior en Estados Unidos. En México contamos alrededor de 15 centros, siendo Hermosillo y Marco uno de ellos, que es donde yo me encuentro. Mi nombre es Ana Lucía Cosa y soy asesora de Sonora, Baja California Sur y Sinaloa. Los servicios que contamos en Education USA son desde buscar el programa, buscar la escuela. Tenemos materiales de consulta que pueden utilizar para estudiar para sus exámenes estandarizados. También, una vez que encontramos el programa o la escuela, es ayudarles a buscar su beca o financiamiento. Y una vez que son aceptados, también el apoyo para la solicitud de visa, de su visa de estudiante. ¿Ok? Y el día de hoy también les vengo a hablar un poco de la beca Education USA Opportunity Funds. Esta beca, esa convocatoria está abierta desde el día de hoy, ¿ok? Y la beca lo que otorga es un apoyo para su proceso de admisión, que es desde el pago de admission fees. También tenemos la parte del el vuelo de México a Estados Unidos. Y la convocatoria está en nuestras redes sociales o nos pueden mandar un correo, que ahorita les voy a poner el correo para que sepan un poquito más de esta gran oportunidad. Ese es mi correo. Mi correo es aacosta@educationusa.org. Me puede mandar un correo para hacer más información. Y parte de lo que hacemos, pues, es también esa colaboración con instituciones de Estados Unidos para saber un poquito más lo que ellos nos pueden ofrecer. Y el día de hoy nos encontramos con Cristian Villarosa, Applying to Grad Schools. Él iniciará la presentación y será en inglés. Igual cualquier cosa, pueden poner los captions en Zoom. Y pues aquí empezamos con Cristian. Okay, Christian, it is your turn to go.
Great, thank you. Let me share my screen here. Alrighty. So today, as mentioned, I'll be discussing applying to graduate schools in the United States. Just different little things about the process that you'll have to go through, think about while you're deciding on what school to go to. Um, and then towards the end of this, I'll kind of apply it specifically to Hood College and our process. But to start off, I'll just give more of a general overview on what to expect. And once again, my name is Christian Villarosa. I'm Assistant Director of Graduate Admission here at Hood College. I am the liaison for international students specifically. So if you are planning to apply to Hood College's graduate school, you'll probably end up working with me at some point throughout the process. There's my contact information if you would like to get a hold of me, if you have application questions, program questions, anything like that. So some of the things we're going to be going through today, researching universities, the course by course evaluation process, letters of recommendation, uh, test scores, essays, resumes, application timeline, and of course, a very popular topic, financing. So we will start with researching and visiting colleges. It's really important that you're doing this throughout the process, especially if you're applying from somewhere out of the United States. You're going to end up moving here for an extended period of time. You want to make sure that this is a place that you really feel like you're going to be comfortable coming to, that meets your needs and both, education-wise and in terms of comfortability in terms of climate and, the weather, There's some places where it snows almost all the time. There's some places where it's very, very humid here in the United States. So you want to make sure that you're thinking about those simple types of things as well. Um, you know, it- Many websites offer now 3D campus tours, which I think are really cool. Video tours, all sorts of different things like that to kind of give you a true feel for what the campus is like. And then when we're thinking about researching colleges, it's not just about the college in general that we need to be thinking about researching, but we also need to think about the programs that we're looking at specifically. Not every cybersecurity program is going to be focusing on the same types of topics. So you want to make sure that based off of your career goals, that the programs that you're looking for, the program that you ultimately decide to pursue, that they meet what exactly it is that you're looking for. So as I mentioned earlier, because you're making a big commitment both financially and, physically moving to a whole nother country, you just want to make sure that you're really doing the research and picking the college that you decide to apply to. Next, I want to talk about the course by course evaluation. Not every single college is going to require this because some of them can do it in-house. But colleges on the smaller side in terms of their departments, like Hood College, for instance, require a course by course evaluation. This is essentially a way for schools to be able to translate your transcript, a foreign transcript into something that's more comparable to the United States and our domestic applicants. Uh, we have two companies or organizations that we work with specifically, NACES and ACE, that we accept evaluations from. And within those two organizations are about, I want to say, 25 to 30 companies, it feels like, that you can pick from to have your transcript translated. And then, like I mentioned before, it's really just about converting your GPA to the U.S. standard GPA. It's about converting, the grading system so that we kind of know what classes and programs that you've been successful in to make sure that you're a good fit for the school. And so with NACES and ACE, it's very simple. All you have to do is submit an application to them with your transcript and a few other potential required documents just to prove that you went to the school, and you send those off to them. And within I would say a couple weeks at most, they'll send the results directly to Hood College or whatever college you end up deciding to apply to. So it's a very quick and seamless process. All right, the next thing that I want to discuss is letters of recommendation. I would say at least 50 to 60% of graduate school programs are going to be requiring a letter of recommendation as part of the application process. Um, just make sure when you're doing the research on schools that you're looking at, see what their application requirements might be, just because every school is going to be a little bit different. As far as the letters of recommendation go, I would say the main thing that I would recommend is that you're looking at getting a letter written by somebody that knows your strengths and will be able to talk about you favorably in terms of whether it's your work ethic or in terms of you as a student. So, just make sure that you're, reaching out to those people that you think you have a very strong connection with, that you'll be able to get a good letter of recommendation from. The other thing I also always like to have students keep in mind is the timeline on this. Don't write a message, a day before the deadline asking somebody for a letter of recommendation. Always ask them way in advance, so that way they have the time to be able to write you that strong letter that you need as part of the application process. Just from a standpoint of being polite and making sure that you're giving them enough time to be able to do you a favor. I just think that's really important, and then it also just ensures that you're not missing a letter of recommendation by the time the application deadline comes up. So yeah, just those two main things, being courteous on time and making sure that it's somebody that can speak positively about your work ethic, whether it's in a job setting or in a school setting. So many schools require different types of tests. I know some schools require the GRE, some don't. Hood College is one of the ones that does not require a GRE exam scores. We are one of the ones that, and I would say many that I'm at least aware of, require English tests as part of their application process. We work with the three that are listed here. Duolingo is really convenient just because it's can be done from home. But that's not to say that you know, what I mean, whatever option you think is going to be the best for you, that would be the one I recommend taking. These three scores that are listed here are what are specific to our application process. They can really be a completely different range depending on what school you're looking at. Um, and just as kind of a disclaimer, at least from Hood's perspective, we are talking about potentially changing these numbers to make them a little bit lower, so that way students have a little bit more of an opportunity to potentially get a good score to be accepted to Hood College. But you know what I mean? I would make sure that when you are getting ready for the application process to kind of do research on the three different types of tests to see which one suits you as a student, because every student has their own different types of strengths when it comes to test taking. So just make sure that you're picking the right one for you. Some people would rather do pen and paper than doing something fully online. So it really just depends on what you're most comfortable with and deciding which of the different English tests that you would take. But as I've been saying throughout this presentation, really just make sure you're doing research on each school's application process so that you can be aware of exactly what tests that they require as part of their application process and what scores they're going to require. Because, different things like the course by course evaluation, for instance, every little bit costs a little bit of money throughout this process. And you want to make sure that, you're not wasting money doing something that you don't need to do, and saving it for something that you actually do have to do. So just little different things to consider throughout the process. Some applications are going to require either a statement of purpose or a general essay. Statement of purposes are just essentially a paragraph or two, typically on, why you are wanting to pursue a specific program. So say I'm interested in information systems. Why do I want to work in that field? Especially if I'm changing careers. Why specifically am I changing my career to this program or to this career field? Uh, Different little things like that. When you're writing these, just make sure that you're reading the instructions carefully so that way you're writing a long enough essay. Um, Make sure that you're using your own words. Obviously nowadays with AI and the internet, it's just really easy sometimes um, to not use your own words, whether it's intentionally or not intentionally. If you're quoting somebody, always make sure to cite that person that you're quoting so that way you're not stealing it from them. Just little things like that, just keep in mind while you're writing these. Um, Always just try to give good examples to support your ideas and don't be afraid to ask somebody to proofread your work. I know there's got to be at least one or two different people that you know that would be more than willing to help you out when writing something like this. Um, and then, like I mentioned before, besides just statement of purpose, some will require a more general essay. Um, you know, Typically, we recommend writing in the five-paragraph structure, introduction and conclusion, and then three supporting arguments within the body. Always make sure that you're doing research on the topic that you're writing on. Don't just write willy-nilly. Make sure that you're really doing research on what it is, so that way, somebody reading it knows that you're kind of dedicated to this application process and getting accepted to the school that you're interested in. And you know what I mean? hook the readers with relevant information about you. So, um, make your essay feel authentic by talking about how either the issues that you're writing about or the program that you're writing about affects you specifically. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier with the plagiarism thing, just be genuine in what you're discussing in your essay and make sure that it's coming from your own words. And as long as you do that, I would say for the most part, you're guaranteed to be successful when it comes to your statement of purpose or your general essay. And once again, as I said, I've been saying this a couple times, and I don't mean to be repetitive over it, but not every program is going to require an essay or a statement of purpose. Just make sure that the ones that do require them, that you are aware of it, and that you're getting those pieces together in time for your application deadline. So some are going to require a resume on to show kind of your background experience in the field of the program that you're applying to. So these are just two different examples that we'd like to show of what a resume might look like, including your previous education background, your experience. Um, I recommend typically have the experience be geared towards things that are relevant to the field that you're interested in. Um, if you don't have experience in the field that you're interested in, then that's still fine. But if you do have that type of experience, make sure to include it on your resume. Um, I mean, any internships or other activities that you've participated in, just make sure to include stuff like that. Program directors, at least the ones that I've worked with, just like to get to know your background to see how much experience you have in the program that you're interested in, if at all, just to kind of see how much extra guidance you might need. We get a lot of people that are doing career changes, so don't be afraid to apply to a program you might not have experience in, because program directors will recognize that and they'll find ways for you to be able to catch up so that way you're more in line with your peers when you know attacking these higher level courses. So when it comes to the application timeline, we recommend creating a calendar that includes all of the different application deadlines, so that way you're not missing out on anything. Certain programs, especially for international students, just because of how long it sometimes takes to get a visa, an F1 visa to study here in the United States, it can be pretty lengthy depending on what country you're coming from or what part of your country you're coming from. So we just want you to be aware of those types of deadlines and making sure that you get everything in time to leave yourself enough time to get that F1 visa. And when it comes to our programs, we typically try to get students an answer once we have all the items in within 48 hours. We pride ourselves on trying to be as quick as possible with that. But if it's a week before classes start, even with that 48-hour turnaround time, that still might not be enough time, probably won't be enough time for you to be able to schedule an appointment to try and get that F1 visa. So just make sure that you're being on top of that. When you're looking for the fall intake, like August, the August semester, June and July, you really should be trying to get everything in as early as you can at that point. When you're thinking about the spring, so a January intake, we recommend, mid to late November, almost coming up to around where we're at now in the year, just to ensure that you have, a handful of weeks here to make sure that you're able to schedule those appointments and get the visa. And now, a lot of people have questions for me when they're applying about finances, because we know with graduate school or any other extended education that it can be kind of tough to fund sometimes, especially because you are coming from out of the United States. There's a lot of different things that you have to consider. Um, when it comes to graduate schools, and especially for international students, it gets a little bit difficult when it comes to scholarships, just because of the limited opportunities. Some have early deadlines, some require lengthy applications. So when you're doing your research on these types of funding opportunities, really just make sure that, as I said earlier, you're leaving yourself with enough time to get everything done. When it comes to the application process, it really is just about deadline, 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 whether it's the letter of recommendation, making sure that the person who's writing it has enough time, or the scholarships, making sure you have enough time to apply and potentially get that extra money to help you fund your education. It's really just important to be aware of those types of things. Um, at least here at Hood College, we offer different assistantships. We work with external programs to offer scholarships and loans. So there are a couple different ways that you can help offset costs. Uh, when it comes to grad school. I've put a QR code here on this slide. So if you were to scan that, if you're either watching now or if you're watching later when we upload this online, you can scan that code and it will take you directly to our international funding page. So you can kind of get an idea of the different types of opportunities that will be available for you. I know with graduate assistantship positions, those help offset a cost or two, or for different amounts of credit depending on what program that you're a part of, or what field you're doing the assistantship in. But we have plenty of different assistantships here available. I know at least in the grad school, we have social media ambassadors that get a little bit of help with their funding because they're helping us with that. We have our front desk is led by one of our graduate assistants. And then I know a lot of those that speak foreign languages tend to help out with teaching assistantships. So that could be a very good opportunity for those of you that are very confident in wanting to help people learn another language. So just a handful of different things that you can consider to help offset those costs here and there, which I think are really nice. So this is kind of a pie chart that kind of shows the different little things that I talked about that you just need to consider, at least from a Hood College perspective. First, we have our online application, which can include, different documents, but mainly it's just you declaring what program you want to be in, your general contact information, that type of thing. The course by course evaluation, which I mentioned before, which is essentially translating your transcripts so that way we can kind of see where you stack up compared to our US requirements. The English test that I mentioned earlier, making sure that you get your different documents in, the resume, statement of purpose, reference letters. As I mentioned before, not all of those are required for each program. It kind of varies depending on what program you're looking at, but just making sure that you have whichever ones you need are submitted. And then, of course, finally paying the application fee for international students, at least for Hood College, that's $100. So just another thing that you want to keep in mind when you're getting ready to apply for your school of choice. Now, real briefly, I just want to talk a little bit more about graduate school at Hood College specifically. This picture here I really like is our parade of flags that we do for International Education Week, which is actually coming up, I believe, in a week and a half here. Every student that is represented from a different country, whether it's their cultural background or they're actually a international student from that country, gets the opportunity to represent that country in the parade of flags, which I think is really nice. I think this picture kind of demonstrates, at least with Hood College, how diverse our campus is, which I think is really cool. You get different people from all sorts of cultures. Um, I know at least about it says here 18% of our graduate population are international students. I think that's actually probably a little bit more now since we looked last at that statistic. But we've had students come from a variety of different countries. Um, especially from like Africa, South Asia, and the Middle East. We would love to have some more from the Spanish-speaking countries come join us, hopefully here soon in the future. Um, And then, we have a variety of different programs, 10 different graduate certificates, plenty of different master's degrees. We just added, I think, three more that we've just launched or are in the process of launching that we're really excited about. Um, Multiple doctorate degrees as well. Um, uh, Regionally, we're definitely one of the more affordable when it comes to tuition. So hand in hand with, looking for those funding opportunities that I mentioned earlier, we like to think that it's a very affordable time here at Hood College. And then we offer classes in all sorts of different formats. As international students, I believe you'd be able to take one class, hybrid slash online, while you're doing per semester. International students on F1 visas are required to be full-time students, which is typically three classes, which are 3 credits each for 9 credits total per semester. Um, and then one thing that people really are excited about when it comes at least to international students are CPT and OPT opportunities. They're different training, built-in training, or sorry, excuse me. CPT is more of a built-in training where you're able to work like an internship almost and get experience working in different field or in your specific field to your program. And OPT opportunities are those after graduation. Many of our STEM programs, or all of our STEM programs, are STEM OPT extension approved. So you're able to work here in the United States for, I can't remember exactly how many months it is, but a good extended period of time to be able to work in the field that you receive your degree in, which I think is really exciting. So definitely a handful of opportunities here at Hood College that I recommend international students definitely take advantage of. We also now offer on-campus housing. So I know for international students that can be somewhat of a concern in finding a place to live while you're doing graduate school in the United States. So if you scan that QR code or visit the link, you're able to see the details, the breakdown of financing and that type of thing, as well as what we offer from a housing standpoint. Um, I believe we just introduced this last school year. So it's just a really good opportunity now for our graduate students to be able to take part in that. These are our application deadlines. When we're looking at the upcoming semester, which is the spring semester, the start is in late January. So we want to make sure that you guys have all of your stuff in by then, including having your visa approved by the time that start comes around. We typically recommend that you have everything into us at the very start of December, so December 1st in that range, to make sure that you're ready for that start in late January. Um, and I mean, as I mentioned before, with our admission, we do rolling admission. So if you're interested in a summer start or a fall 2025 start, you can already start your process now, which, like I said before, because of how long it takes sometimes, I would definitely recommend that. I know I listed here 7 to 10 days. We're usually good about getting it done in 48 hours. Depending on if a program director is on vacation, it might take a little bit longer, but we're usually within 48 hours. We do a bunch of different international events. As I mentioned before, we have International Education Week. We celebrate a variety of different holidays and heritage months when it comes to different cultural events here at Hood College. So if that was something that a student might be, worried about in terms of, being able to participate in cultural events, that's something here at Hood College that we're very proud of that we're able to offer. And then finally, I think the last thing I wanted to mention is on the 7th, so Thursday evening, we are offering a admission cafe. So for those that are interested, they are able to meet program directors, faculty, staff, and just kind of learn more about our programs and what we are able to offer here at Hood College. And that's everything I really have for you guys. If you are interested in applying, you can scan that QR code. It will take you right to our application. But yeah, in summary, like I said before, it's really just all about the deadlines, making sure that you get everything in, and doing your research on different schools to make sure that whatever program you pick, if it is Hood, great. If it's not, and you're looking at a different school, just make sure you're doing the research necessary to make sure that it's a comfortable fit for you, both in your career goals and in the location that you end up pursuing. So I hope this presentation at least gave you a few little nuggets that you can go away with that um, help give you confidence in your potential studies here at the United States. And I wish you all good luck with that.
Thank you, Christian, and thank you to the people who attended the meeting. And of course, I will send you the link on YouTube so you can watch it again if you need it. Eh, and well, that's it for today. Thank you to the attendants.
Thank you.